This feels really good. Oh my god. Yo guys, this is one of the few times in the year where I really have to prevent myself from opening a package before unboxing it, because we have something really exciting in here. To give you a little bit of context, this is the Moyu Weilong V9. It has been voted as probably one of the best releases of last year, and I loved it as well, but I had a few issues with it. First of all, it was uncontrollable out of the box. It was so fast. You can kind of fix this with setup and stuff, but it is still really fast. And the second thing I didn't really like about it is that the magnetic pull is really strong and tactile. Like, it doesn't feel natural in my opinion. But aside from that, this cube was nearly perfect. But now guys, let's open the package. There's a bit more in here than I expected. Now, first of all, we have the GAN 5x5. Now, this is definitely not for this video. Next up, we have this. Not for this video. If you want me to make a video, let me know, guys. Let me know. But right here, we have 3 versions of the same puzzle. Now, these aren't the exact same cubes. One of them is set up. I might actually talk a bit about this later in the video. But we're gonna focus on these 2 guys right here, because one of them has a ball core with maglev. The other one has a ball core with springs. We're gonna start off with the maxed out version. This one is $40. Let's just unbox it and see what it feels like. Pretty basic stuff so far. Accessories, we're gonna take a look at that later. Who cares about that stuff, right? Because we have really bad box. Like, who wants to have a cube box that consists of 2 parts? Why? And bam. That's like the most difficult part, guys, just getting the cube out of the plastic wrapping. But here we are. Guys, I'm actually really excited because I remember when I tested the V9, it was way too fast out of the box. This is so loose. Oh my god. So let's see if I can actually control this one. That was a U4 flick in one move, once again. It is a bit too fast out of the box. I mean, now that I'm turning a bit, it is actually way too fast. I know this time Moyu actually did something new, because they've been using the same dual adjustment system like in the V9 for so long. So I'm actually really excited to see what the new thing is. Bam! Oh, yep, that is Moyu's new dual adjustment system. Bit of a close-up right there. I kind of want to test it. Let's see what comes in the box. We have this weird X thing once again. Are there any explanations? Peace, bro. Alright, let's see. I'm quickly gonna read how to use this tool before I actually try something and break the cube. You never know, guys. It's kind of weird. They mentioned adjustable magnets and I was like, oh, I got a bit excited here, guys. I was like, adjustable magnets? But nah, guys, no adjustable magnets. So for this cube, you only want to use this part of the X. If you turn clockwise, it changes the tensioning. If you turn counterclockwise, it changes the elasticity, corresponding to the level of compass numbers in the positioning slots. What does that mean?
What the f does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
I'm gonna try to do the middle setting on each of the sides and see how fast I can adjust it by using a timer, guys. Let's see. So that's 42 seconds. Let me just put the center caps back on. Luckily, this time we have normal center caps, because I do not know what GAN was trying to do with their GAN 14M Pro.
Oh.
This feels too tight. Yeah, this is too tight. Like, you want to have perfect 45-degree corner cutting. I'm not a big fan of this, Moyu. Why did you come up with such tight settings? I'm gonna try to do setting number 2. Now, this might be a setting that I actually like, but I noticed that the cube comes really fast, and that is probably because this cube has maglev, which means that it doesn't have springs to hold the cube together. It uses 2 repelling magnets, which makes the cube faster because you have less resistance. I like the settings, but the cube is a bit too fast. Now, I'm gonna try to compensate a bit for that with FC Calm. By the way, guys, this loop, FC Calm, is becoming one of my favorite loops. Like, it's so easy. It doesn't slow the cube down too much. It does make it really controllable. Listen to that. Straight away, the cube becomes something else entirely. So if you want to have like a one-size-fits-all loop, go to thecubicle.com, the sponsor of this video, and get yourself some FC Calm. By the way, the links of the cubes that I'm talking about in this video are in the description as well as the pinned comment. So if you have any interest, check it out. And use discount code CUBED for a huge discount I really appreciate all of the support for the channel because it really helps. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Inside we have, this is a ball core once again, but this time the normal ball core actually is a 20 magnet ball core, which means there's 20 magnets inside of it. You have a small magnet in the edges. I bet that this repels the core magnets, and then you have a magnet in the corners which attracts the core magnets, and this results into a cube that almost auto aligns. But now that we're here anyways, let's actually try to compare the piece designs. So this is the edge piece of the V9 and this is the edge piece of the V10. So the magnet became smaller, and also I think there's a big difference on the sides. Like this thingy right here is way bigger on the V9, like on the V10 it became way smaller. Also the inside of the edges is totally different, so that is really exciting to see. Next up we have the corner. So this is the V9, this is the V10. There's like a few things I can note. So first of all, we have holes in the V10 corner. I don't know if it really shows on camera, but there's like these small hooks right here in the corners. You can see it right here. And the V9 design doesn't have these hooks, like it's flat over here. Oh yeah, there's like less empty space in the V9's design. Like you can see that the edge is closer to the corner. And right here with the V10 design, there's like a small hole between the stem of the corner and the edge itself. Even the centerpiece design on the V10, which is this one right here, is different than the V9. And also the ball core of the V9 is smaller than the one of the V10, which means that the corners are a bit closer to the ball core. And yes, I can definitely see that they are closer. So probably the ball core has a bigger effect on the new version. So just talking about this, it seems pretty exciting because it is almost an entirely different cube. The V9 has a really rounded feel, like everything is really rounded, which a lot of people like. I like it as well. There's one issue, corner twists on the V9 are really easy. V10 way more difficult, which is really good for top performers because you don't want to do a competition and have a corner twist because that is a DNF. Corner cutting, it's okay. It does 45 degrees, but on the V9 it just feels a bit smoother. So it's not necessarily bad because you do not want to be turning with 45-degree corner cuts. It's more about like how good are the small cuts, and the small cuts on this cube, man, you almost don't feel them. Let me just do one solve on it. Let's see what times I get. Yeah, this is actually a good scramble. Ooh, cube feels so smooth. I kind of messed up there. This feels really good. Oh my god. Once you really want to perform, like you want to have this accurate turning style, you're not just spamming your cube, and that is when the cube really needs to perform, right? Let me try again, because maybe that was just one solve. Oh no, I made a mistake. Even with the mistake. 7.4. I might actually already love this cube. But anyways, guys, I have like 10 more minutes before my SD card runs out. So let me open this other guy. So this is the exact same cube. The only difference is that this time the cube doesn't have maglev. It comes with springs, which may be actually a good thing for a lot of people because that means the cube is less fast. And you might be thinking like, isn't it always good to have a fast cube? Nah, it is not. Only if you're Yi Hang Wang, because if a cube is too fast, it just becomes uncontrollable. So let's do first turns on this cube. I don't know, there's a big difference in speed. By the way, this cube is $33, I believe, but even less if you use discount code CUBEHEAD. Wink. Okay, so this one has like greenish internals, the other one has blue, so let me do... Yeah, that was a J-perm. It feels a bit more controllable, but honestly, I don't feel a big difference. So let me just do a solve and see how it feels. What? I don't know why I became British suddenly. What? Alright guys, so I've been using this cube for about 2 days now and I've done about 250 solves. Now normally I would film myself solving for about an hour and only show you guys one of my good solves. But for this one I did something different. I just recorded an average of 12 to save some SD card memory mostly. But anyways, talking about the cube that I'm currently using, you might notice that it has a Yo logo. So is this the new Yo cube? Well, not entirely. I just noticed that Phil really liked the cube and we were discussing like maybe this could be the next YoCube Deluxe. So I asked him to set it up like a YoCube to test it out, and out of the versions that I had, I like this version the most. So the cube that I'm using is the spring version, so not the Maglev one, and I think it is better than the Maglev one because the cube out of the box is just way too fast. The spring version is just a bit more controllable, and spending more doesn't really make sense to me, but if you like really fast cubes, go with the Maglev version anyways. I set mine to tension number 1, so the loosest settings, which allows for the best corner cutting, and compression number 4, which is pretty compressed, but it just provided a good balance for me. Now these aren't like the final tensions or anything, and I'm not even entirely sure that I'm gonna use this as a YoCube because I do need to do way more solves on it. First of all, this is an entirely different cube. It's nothing like the WRM V9 in my opinion. So they could just call it the Moyu Oshuashi, and I would be like, oh nice, a new Moyu Oshuashi, and just treat it like a totally different cube. Because we've seen the different mechanisms of the cube, they're totally different. So this leads to a cube that is definitely more blocky, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because I feel like the V9 was just a bit too rounded. The V10 is definitely more controllable, which is a good thing for me. I like controllable cubes. Also, the cube is lighter because I compared the weights and I think it's almost 10 grams lighter, which leads to a more hollow feeling cube. And something that I liked is that the magnetic strength feels more natural on the V10 than it did on the V9. The V9 was way more tactile, this one more natural feeling, which probably is because the standard ball core on this cube is a 20 magnetic ball core, so that's kind of an upgrade and I like it. And also something really cool, the cube is actually, you cannot really see it, half a millimeter bigger, and I like that. 55mm is just a tiny bit too small for my monkey hands. So what don't I like about this cube? Well, there's quite a few things. First of all, I do not like how it feels out of the box. It's completely dry, it's too fast, you really need to set it up. Secondly, there's no adjustable magnets. Now, I did mention magnetic strength feels really good in my opinion, but if you do not like this kind of magnetic strengths, you cannot change the magnetic strength. Next up, I don't like the sound of this cube. It just sounds a bit clacky to me. Now, if you loop it well, it does help, but still a well-looped V9 sounds better than a looped V10 in my opinion. Something else that's probably personal, I do not like the UV coating of this cube, but I just don't like UV coating overall. I just feel like it becomes a bit sticky, but a lot of people like this, so I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, especially talking about the $33 spring version, this cube has the 20 magnet ball core as well as the new dual adjustment system. I think that just makes this cube overall a better value than the V9 was. So overall, it's a good cube. I'm gonna play with it more. But guys, most importantly,